So on to module 2. Where do we start in entrepreneurship? For me, my favorite quote is, you don't have a business until you have someone to pay you for what you do or what you make. So, where are we starting? We're starting with sales. Sales cures all in entrepreneurship. It's all about finding clients. So how do we find clients? One of the things that I like to focus on when it comes to finding clients is low-hanging fruit. What do I mean by low-hanging fruit? If you were to go and pick an apple off an apple tree, but it didn't matter which one you picked, are you going to go to the top one and pick it down? Probably not. You're probably going to go to the one that's easier to reach and pick that one down. Well, that's what you should do when you first start off in entrepreneurship. So my first client was my brother. My second client were my brother's friends. And then I started to grow from there. So when you're looking to start building your business and start getting clients for your business, start finding clients in your immediate network. People you know, friends from school, old acquaintances. And then you move on to cold solicitation when you're reaching out to people you don't know. And that's when you then move over to advertising. The second thing I have on there is to build a portfolio. People got to know what it is that you do. So me as a video production professional, I went out there and did a couple of things for free to build a portfolio to show people I could do what I said I can do. And then the third thing is first comes leads and then comes clients. We're going to talk about what a lead is in just a second. Oh, we're going to talk about it right now. So what is a lead? A lead is someone who has shown interest in using your product or service. Once an individual sends me any type of communication, I consider it a lead. So if I reach out to, say, Dan, and Dan responds to me, then Dan is now a lead. And in my opinion, if you're looking to get sales for your business, it's all about getting more leads. The more leads you can find, the more sales you can make. So for example, if you contacted 100 people, maybe 10 of those 100, 10%, will reach back out to you. And then 10% of that 10%, so one person, you can then convert into a sale. Simply put, leads equals sales. The more leads you have, the more sales you can make. And anyone can become a lead, including family, friends, and anyone that you talk to. So what type of leads do I like? I like warm leads. For me, warm leads are individuals who are already actively looking for what you do or what you sell. So for example, if you sold produce, fruits and vegetables, going to a farmer's market, you would find warm leads because people are there to already buy the type of things that you're selling. Same thing for pop-up shops. For me as a video production creative, I have a digital business where I'm selling videos and photos. So I find websites that people are coming to find the type of services that I offer. Some of the websites that I like to use are thumbtack.com, bark.com, Upwork, the list goes on and on. Then you got some oldies but goodies. I made a lot of clients off of Craigslist.com. You also have Angie's List. Maybe you're doing painting or plumbing or lawn care work, all of those things. And even care.com, if you're a babysitter or a nanny, care.com is a great place where people are coming to actively look for what you do. So getting on those warm lead websites and going to those places, pop-up shops, farmer market, trade shows, where individuals are already looking for what you do or what you sell, your chances of converting that lead into a sale go up. And don't forget about referrals. So if you're talking to client Dan, you just completed a great job for him. Ask them, hey, Dan, can you refer me to someone? And when that person calls you and say, hey, I was referred to you by Dan, that's one of the best warm leads you can ever get. So not only do I use warm leads, but sometimes I go out there and work to create my leads. And I call that sourcing. Sourcing is when you're looking for people who could potentially benefit from your product or service. So one of the things that I do right now as I'm moving into being more of a professional speaker is I created a spreadsheet of everybody that I knew, whether that was a former client, family members, friends, acquaintances, people that I went to school with. Create this spreadsheet and maybe they can have someone that they can refer you to for your product or service. So again, I am looking to be a professional speaker. So I reached out to someone that I went to high school with who's now a teacher. And I'm saying, hey, do you know any administrators, principals, or teachers who could benefit from having me come speak to their students? It's a great way to continue to find ways to build more leads. The next way that I like to source leads is through LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn, go get a LinkedIn. It will professionally change your career. I've literally got deals with Porsche and Chick-fil-A via LinkedIn. One of the cool things about LinkedIn is that you can see a person's job title on the social media website. With the Chick-fil-A example, I worked for about 15 different Chick-fil-A's over a 3-year period. I was able to do that because I started to source marketing directors that worked at Chick-fil-A franchises on LinkedIn. I was hired by one Chick-fil-A. They found me through a warm lead website. And I noticed that my point of contact, the person that I was working directly with to create the video content, was the marketing director. So I went on LinkedIn.com, typed in marketing directors that work for Chick-fil-A franchises, and I started to reach out to them all and say what type of services that I could provide for the franchise. Lo and behold, now I've done 15 to 20 Chick-fil-A restaurant videos. And the last thing I have on there is government entities. Right now, as I'm moving into being a professional speaker, I source plenty of colleges, universities, high schools, and organizations to go and talk to their students. One thing about government organizations is all of their contact information is listed on the website. Right now, if I'm looking to go and speak to a certain type of program, say it's a TRIO program, or it's a student services program, or maybe it's just the band. I was in marching band. I can look up the director's email address on the school website. I can look up the director of the TRIOs program on the university's website. That's a great way to continue to build those spreadsheets out so you can have more leads to source. You can turn more of those leads into sales. Next, we have sweat equity. What in the heck is sweat equity? For me, sweat equity is putting in free work. When you're first starting out, whatever business you're doing, unless you were able to get a loan from a bank or get a loan from mom and dad, you're not going to have very much capital to start out with if you're anything like I was. One of the things that I did when I first started out was to do free work. Sweat equity, right? I was able to put equity and add value to my company by doing free work. When I did this free work, it allowed me to build a portfolio. I was able to show other potential clients, hey, I did this type of video, or hey, this is the quality of my work, or hey, now I have this review or this testimonial from a client. Yes, I did those gigs for free, but now I have this portfolio. Now I've built the brand. Now I can go out there and find paying clients because of the portfolio work I put together with my free clients. One of the things that I like to do when it comes to sweat equity, when it comes to doing free work, is a top-down strategy. A lot of times when you think about, okay, who do I want to try to do a free video for? Who do I want to take free pictures for? Whatever your industry is, you may think about going to the local mom and pop shops. But I like to do a top-down strategy. I've worked with Porsche. I've worked with Chick-fil-A. How about go do free work for those major brands? Because now they're in your portfolio. Now they're your client. And when you have Chick-fil-A as your client and in your portfolio, when you go to the family-ran restaurant and you say, hey, I've done work for Chick-fil-A, now you look like a true professional because you've worked with such a big brand. Trust me, I've done it. It works. So I make money by addressing my clients' pain points. What in the heck is a pain point? We talked about that a lot. There's a lot of terms, but we're going to go over them all. So what is a pain point? A pain point is an issue that your potential client is struggling with that your product or service can help resolve. So how do you learn your client's pain points? For me, what I do is I ask a ton of questions. When I'm at the sales meeting talking to a client, I'm asking them all the questions in the book. I'll give you guys an example. I did a video project for a company called SML RFID. They sold these thick tags that go on clothing that you may see at like H&M or Forever 21. So that's what they sold. They sold these tags. However, they needed to explain to their clients the benefits of paying more for these type of tags as opposed to just your regular paper tags. So I started to ask them questions. What's the benefit of this tag? What are their clients' pain points? And ultimately, my favorite question to ask is what's a win if we were to complete this video? What would be a win? Would sales increase? Would your clients stop calling you because they have figured out how to use your product or service, what would be considered a win? So if you got your clients' pain points, if you have your solution, and you ask those open-ended questions, that's going to lead to sales. And as a business owner, that's what you want to be, making those sales. Last thing, couple action items. So go ahead, take out that spreadsheet, not the pen and paper this time. Take out the spreadsheet and start filling out all the numbers that's in your phone, all the emails that you may have of people that you know that you can ask to refer you to other people to do business. Again, I'm a public speaker. I will reach out to my friend who's a teacher and ask, do you know any other teachers who may have students who can benefit from my public speaking? Two things are going to happen. They rock with you. They'll be like, yeah, I can refer you to a couple people. And then secondly, indirectly, they're going to be like, well, wait, he may be able to come speak to my students. And they'll ask you, what are you speaking about? How much are your fees? Et cetera, et cetera. So it's a great place to start. You can also get on LinkedIn and start sourcing those cold leads for individuals that you don't know based upon job descriptions and companies that you potentially want to work with. And the last thing, I've also gave you guys a link to a sales training on how to sell a sailboat. I know the name's crazy, but it's just because there's like 3 different ways that you can say the word sell. How to sell a sailboat, a sales training. But in that training, I talk about all the things that I do for my media production company to make a sale. And I hope it'll be useful for you as well. On to module 3.